So we've got something new and different for you guys today. It's actually based on a request, and we're calling it the butterfly accordion card. And you'll have to just wait until the end to see how it works. But let's get started. Well, actually, if you saw the trailer, you know how it works. So I have already done some pre-prepping here because it's redundant and I don't want to have to do it 4 times because the process is exactly the same for all 4. So you can see here, I've got 3 of the 4 sides complete. We're going to do 1 together and then you're going to do the rest on your own. So as far as orientation goes, this is your bottom. You're going to do a mountain fold here, a valley fold here, mountain fold here, a valley fold here, and then another mountain fold. So we've got a little accordion here, okay? And then we've got a series of panels. Now, by the way, I did do some inking on this. I just hit this with an orangey peach color. And we've got butterflies here. Now you'll notice that the orientation of these butterflies varies. There's some that are straight up and down. There's one that's floating or flying to the left, one that's floating to the right. Now we want to stagger these and keep them consistent as well. And also what you want to do, there are a series of perforations between the body and each wing so that you can fold it in like I just did. And then I'm taking a dowel and just kind of wrapping the wing around the dowel to, well, just make it kind of more curvy and give it a little more interest. Okay, so what we're going to do, starting with the bottom section here, we're just going to get this one glued on. This one is flying to the right, so we're going to get that one on there. On the glue, you want to make sure that you're just putting it on the outside. Well, obviously you can't. You don't want to put it on any of the wings because we want those to be kind of floating. I want them to be free. Okay, and we're going to glue this one down. On the first section, there is a slight border all the way around this design, so try to center it the best you can. And then we move right up to the next one. Now the next one, in my case, you can change it up if you want, but I'm going to do the one that's pointing straight up. I'm going to fold the wings at the little score mark there, and then take my dowel and just give each of the wings here just a little bit of a curve. Okay. Now these will obviously flatten out a little bit after you put them in your envelope, but the paper should remember how we trained it, and it should pop out just ever so slightly, just enough to create a nice little shadow and give the project a little extra dimension. Okay, so the second one here is the one going straight up and down. Again, make sure that you've got a nice even border all the way around and just press that into place. Okay, now the third one here is our caption. And you can do anything with this. We've included this caption, which I did a print and cut with, but you can print out a blank one if you have a stamp. You can use a stamp, or you can do your own print and cut. It could say Happy Mother's Day, it could say Get Well Soon, it could say Happy Birthday, it could say anything really. It could say hi, it can say, it could be, well, you could actually cut out a picture, you could write something, whatever you want to do. But there's your sentiment, and that's going to be at the same level, right in the center of all 5 of these. And you know, no matter which side they look at it, they're going to see that sentiment. And the cool thing is well, to display this, you can kind of hang it up. I could see these being done for Christmas too. You could do a Christmas stamp, and then you know, you can hang it off of the mantle or wherever. All right, so again, I folded the wings and just kind of cupped them across my dowel to give them a little dimension. And I'm going to get that glued into place. So as I mentioned, and I apologize, I don't remember who submitted the request, but thank you for turning us onto this. We did kind of make it our own, but well, we definitely made it our own, but it was cool. I think I may have seen them in the past, but this was probably before Dreaming Tree. And we thought, hey, why not make a template for these? They're going to be really fun. I could see these being done up a lot. So thank you to our lovely dreamer for submitting the request. All right, so last one here. We'll get this one in place. And you're simply going to repeat this process 3 more times with the other 3 main pieces here, just like I have over here in the corner. Okay, so we have 4 sides, and at this point we can begin constructing the card. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so we've got these 3 pieces. These are the base. This is like the platform that everything is going to sit on. Now these first 2 layers, they're just going to get glued together. You'll notice that there are some little score mark indicators here to help you with the placement of this piece. So we can go ahead and get our glue onto this piece. Just be sparse with it. Don't cake it up. There's a lot of surface area here. Last thing we want is for this piece to warp, especially out towards the ends. We are going to cover this up anyway, but let's try to keep it nice and flat. Again, get that aligned with the little score marks there on the piece underneath. I'm going to lift this up. It's going to be easier to nudge it around in my hands like this. And just get it nice and centered. Kind of scooch it around until it is, and then press down. I think I did a pretty good job there. Just make sure it's nice and flush all the way around. There we go. Okay, so next step is to, well, we need to glue these into place. Okay, now you'll notice that on this peach color, in my case it's peach, there are a couple of indicators here. And what we're going to do is we're going to glue these pieces, these little tabs, onto or between the little indicators there, while also making sure that the edge is flush with, in my case, this peach piece. Okay, yeah, we don't want it going over and encroaching onto, in this case, the robin's egg color or the turquoise or greenish blue colored paper. So we want it nice and flush with the existing peach piece here and between these 2 little indicators. So let's get our glue on the underside of this tab. Okay, and just tuck it under. Kind of line that up with the very edge while also making sure that you're within those guidelines. And just press that down and hold that in place for a second. And that looks pretty good to me. So I'll just show you what that looks like from the inside. And we're going to cover that up with this piece here eventually. It's going to look like that. But we're going to need to do this a few more times. Okay, so let's get our glue on the underside, the bottom of this tab. And again, flush with the peach piece and inside within the little score boundary markers. Okay, and press that down. Should be nice and even, nice and straight, just like that. Okay, you can see how it's kind of right in between these little cutouts here. That's another way to make sure that you've got it all in place. Okay, so moving on to the next side. Putting our glue on the underside here. I got way too much there. That's going to take forever to dry, so I'm just going to thin it out, clean off my finger. Okay, and again, this piece needs to be not encroaching onto the blue or blue-green piece, nice and flush, and then within those guides, double check your work, make sure it's nice and straight, going right past those little leaves. And that one looks good. Let's fold that over, flatten that out, and then rotate and onto the last piece here. Pop that on the underside. There I go again, getting crazy with my glue. Okay, again, look for the little markers, get them between the markers, flush with the top panel here and press and hold. And get that down. All right, so that's the majority of the work here. Now this piece here is going to cover up those tabs. So what we need to do, and you can see that we've got some cutouts here for the little leaves and for the flower. You can kind of just use the center cutout of the flower and the leaves here on the corners to help you with the alignments. Okay, so let's get our glue on this piece here. It's kind of a large area, so try to work quick. And then up here where we've got that little area where it's going to be covering up the tabs, try to get a little bit of glue out to the edge there. Don't overdo it, but definitely get some coverage there. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to work as quick as I can. It is a large area. Okay, and I'm going to grab this and focusing on the center little cutout and the leaves, and voila. And then press that all the way around and hold that in place until it sets. Okay, you're going to be surprised at how easily this thing goes together at the end here. We're almost done, actually. Okay, so that looks good. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to fold this in and just flatten it out. It's okay if we're squishing the butterfly wings. Don't worry about it. And what we may need to do while we're preparing for the next step is, you know what, I'm going to flip this upside down and I'm just going to tuck it under my mat for a second to hopefully flatten it out a bit, because those butterfly wings are, they're really kind of going nutty right now. Okay, so, all right, so this piece here, this is kind of our little bridge. And if you look underneath here on one of these pieces, you'll notice that there's a couple little score marks. Okay, and what those score marks are for is to help you with the alignment of this piece. But technically, because of the little hole that's cut out, I don't think you can really get it wrong. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to put glue on this little area here. Okay, so that we can glue this other piece on, and try to get the glue out to the very edges here. That's going to be important. Okay, now this is the underside. And then I'm going to take and just match the hole up, and that guide, I guess it does kind of help with keeping it level. Okay, but that's what we need to do. Just connect these two pieces like so, and give them a good chance to really dry, because they're going to kind of hold everything together here in just a moment. Okay. All right, so we've got that. I'm going to let that set for just a second so that it doesn't come pulling apart. In the meantime, we can train our little flower petals. So what we want to do is take a little dowel. This is the underside. This is the texture side. I'm going to train these down so they fold down. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing with the other one here in just a minute. So we've got that. And then I'm going to take this one here. And I'm going to train that down like that. Okay, and our pattern piece is going to go on top of the cardstock piece like that. And I kind of I'm going to flare these down just a little bit. I want to create a little more separation between these. So I'm going to actually fold these up a little bit like that. So they're trained so that they're curved, but I'm going to fold them up so they stand up more to create a little separation between these two. Now ultimately, again, they're probably going to be flattened out, but that's okay. So grab a little bit of glue, just put it around this little hole here, this little ring, and offset this a little bit when you place it on top so that the petals are not on top of each other. You want them to be kind of staggered. Okay, and get that Get that in place, just like that. Okay. And then we've got this little topper here. That's going to go right on top. So I'll tell you what, let's just put some glue right around the ring here. Let me get rid of that. And just pop that right on top so that it matches up with the existing holes there, the circles. Okay, so we've got, this is kind of just a little cherry on top. Okay, and you'll see where this goes in just a moment. All right, so that's all set. This guy looks pretty dry to me. This is going to go on the bottom and hide the ribbon after everything's all said and done. And you say ribbon, you say, huh? Yeah, we're going to add some ribbon to this. Okay, so it's still a little wacky right now, but it's okay. Okay, so here's what we're going to do, and the easiest way to do this, essentially what's going to happen is this piece, and somewhere in this little area here, it's going to get glued to the underside of this top piece, okay? But we're going to have to, what we're going to do is we're going to slide this underneath these pieces, and we kind of have to, what you're going to do is try to center this as best as you can, okay? So essentially what we want to look for is just to make sure that the little cutouts here for this little flower that's in the center, that they're pretty equal, and the gaps here between the little bridge are equal, both vertically and horizontally. So that will kind of help us with the placement. Okay, so that's way off to the right. We don't want that. I mean, it'll still work, but we want it to be symmetrical. Okay, so try to get it lined up as best as you can like that, and let's just keep it there for now. Okay, let's just keep it just like that. And then what we can do, just kind of hold these three down and lift this one up, and let's put our glue on top here on this tab. I'll lift this up more so you can see it. Now you don't want to get glue on the actual accordion piece because then it's going to stick together, and I might have put way too much glue on there. I'm going to dab some of this off just in case it spills over. That's fine, okay, and then just go ahead and press that down and just hold that down for a second. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to show you 3 more times, so it's not like we won't get it. Okay, so I mean the rest of it is still in place, so we can lift this out, and let's get our glue right here. Keep it within the area here, and try to get it out to the little nooks and crannies as close as you can. And I'm just going to dab this just to spread it out, get it out to the very edges, and then fold that over and press down. I can release that one. And then what we're going to do is we're going to feed a ribbon through this so that we can grab it by the ribbon and pull it up. And you'll get the full effect here in just a second. Okay, so that one's done. It's already kind of starting to work. Okay, so let's lift this out of the way. Get your glue on this here. And I've never really done this. I've never used an applicator to dab things, but it seems to be working for me. And there we go. Press that down. Let's make sure that these are not sticking together. They're not. They're fine. And if they are, it's just a little bit of glue. I should be able to pull that right up. But you see what's happening here. Okay. Let's get that last one in place here. And let's get a little glue on here. And again, we're just keeping it within the boundaries of this little square here. We don't want the glue to go penetrate beyond that because it's not gonna connect to anything. We want it just to make contact with our little butterfly panel piece. Okay, so there it is, minus the little flower that we're going to put on top. But you can see here, when you lift it up, it opens up like this. Okay, so you can see on the other camera here what that's going to look like. Isn't that cool? You guys are going to love this. I already love it. Okay, so next thing, grab our flower and grab some ribbon. We have some nice ribbon here. And it's up to you how long you want to make this ribbon. I think that as long as your finger can get in there, that'll work. I don't think we don't need to overdo it. Get some nice fabric scissors. There we go, just cut it. And I'm just gonna feed this through here, like so. And then feed the other side through, the other end, like so. And then just decide how long you want it. I think that's perfect. So you can get your finger in there, I think is good enough. Maybe leave a little extra slack, just like that. Okay, and you want to leave just a little bit here so we can glue it to the underside of this piece. So don't cut it too short, but don't leave too much at the same time. I'm going to cut it right about there, I say. There, I say. Okay, and we're going to feed this through this hole. And that might be difficult. No, it won't be difficult. Just feed it right through. Hold on, let me just kind of pinch it. Feed it right through. There we go. It's through. There we go. That's about just enough. And then we've got our little circle here. Okay, now, wow, if it's in there and you've got enough slack, you can probably trim off a little more. Okay, and then put your glue on this little circle and just make sure that the ribbon is through that little hole. I don't know if you can see that. There it is. You can see the little ribbon there through the hole. And we're just going to glue that down, covering the ribbon and the hole, and then also making sure that that will kind of hold it in place. And I'm going to just smush that down and take a look at that. Get it nice and centered, and then just smush it down and hold it while it dries. We can always fluff up that flower here in just a second. Okay, so that's good. Let's put this back in place. Let's fluff up our flower a bit. I'll finish that in a minute. Okay, but there you go. So you grab it by the little handle or by the little ribbon, and so your recipient will get the card like this, and they'll be like, well, what the heck is this thing? And they'll see this. It looks like a little something to grab and bring up, and bam, you bring it up, and there's your sentiment, get well soon, and the card is done. And of course, the card wouldn't be complete without a handy little envelope. Of course, we had to make this one thick, otherwise that thing wouldn't fit, so I kind of made a little boxy envelope, and you can see it here in front of me. So you want to go ahead and fold everything at the score marks. This is simple. You guys have probably made plenty of boxes from Dreaming Tree in the past. And that's that, okay? Then we have this piece here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this piece and attach it. Well, actually, before we do that, we wanna connect our sides, okay? So you'll see that we've got these little triangular tabs here at the bottom. Let me clean off my glue bottle. Just throw a little glue. Oh, and by the way, if you want, when attaching this ribbon, you know, to that little circle, if you want to use hot glue, you can. That might hold better. All right, so I got a little bit of glue on this triangular tab. Gonna bring it over to the neighboring piece, line it up, and just hold and squeeze to connect those edges there, those corners. Okay. Now these tabs up here, we don't need to glue those. That's just kind of decorative for the most part. Okay, so that corner is in place, and that just leaves this one. So we're going to throw a little bit of glue right here, bring it in, connect it to the neighboring end, and squeeze, hold that in place, let that set, and we'll just put the face on it. Let's go to camera B, and 1, and 2, and 1, and 2. All right, back to camera A. All right, so that's that. So we're gonna take this piece, and let's start at the bottom. Get our glue on this section here. And nice little line right out to the very edge. I'm gonna spread that nice and thin with my finger. I'm gonna hit this end here as well. Make sure that I get it covered nicely. And you know what? I'm gonna put some glue up here too. Just like that. All right, so just get this lined up nice and center. Right up to the very edge there. And just hold that in place momentarily while it sets. Make sure that that piece is nice and connected. You can flip it over and down onto your surface to really apply that pressure and get it to stick. We're not going to have that luxury with the sides, but that's okay. As long as we get one side meticulously connected, the other two sides should just kind of fall into place, and they will. All right, so now at this point we are going to need to do both sides at the same time here. So I'm going to do that. Do a little piggy tail here, and then a straight line there. And run that glue out to the edge. I didn't get enough over here. That's going to come apart. I just know it. Okay, flip it over. Spread that out. And let's close her up. Okay, just kind of nudge the edge in so it's nice and lined up with the surface here. Give that a second, and then move on over real quick over here before it dries. And get that in place nicely. And that should do it for our little envelope. All right, let's try this again. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to flip it in this way. There we go. All right, now we can close that up. Okay, so we've got our nice little envelope. And all that's left to do is just run some ribbon through this. Okay, so we're gonna feed it in like this. It's gonna go all the way around. And then we're gonna tie it right up here. So actually it's probably a little overkill. I just need enough. Well, you know what? Just to be safe, I need to leave a little extra for the ribbon, or for the bow, I should say. All right, so cut your ribbon, and we're literally just gonna tie this into a bow. Just like that, and then we can, of course, play with this a little bit to get it to be the right size. That's obnoxiously large right now. I want it to be somewhat petite. And this ribbon doesn't really tie very well. It's kind of rigid, but it's okay. And anyway, you get the idea. I may end up going with a different ribbon because this just does not want to play nice. But anyway, so that's how that's going to work. Yeah, maybe don't use this ribbon for something like this. It's kind of hard to work with. But anyway, so of course we're going to trim that so that the tail is not obnoxious either. And then your recipient's going to open it up, take it out, look at it and be like, whoa. And there it is. So I hope you guys enjoyed this new card. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you did, please take a moment and hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. That lets me know that you enjoy crafting with me and you love the videos. And if you make this or anything from our new bundle, we'd love to see your version. So join us in the official Dreaming Tree group on Facebook. Head over to your Facebook, and in your search box at the top, type in Dreaming Tree Group. You can join myself and the 10,000 plus current members that inspire us daily. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. Happy spring, And as always, I look forward to crafting with you again.
Stay on top of all things Dreaming Tree and engage with us today. Get the latest news and enter in our giveaways on Facebook. Get inspired by following us on Pinterest. Be the first to see our new product launches on Instagram. Do you prefer Twitter? Yep, we're there too. Watch our beautiful product trailers and assembly tutorials on YouTube. For more information, visit www.3dsvg.com. Live, craft, love, and dream.